How's it going, everyone? David from dodmedia. Can you hear me? Hang on. That's better, isn't it? It's a little bit cleaner, it's a little bit crisper. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you why distance between microphone and source of sound is crucial when you're filming to get good audio. Let's go. I get asked all the time, what microphone are you using? What's your audio recording setup? How do you get your sound to be so crisp? And while having a good microphone, sure, it's important because every single microphone is different and it's going to give you a different tone when you're recording. Some are going to be bassier, some are going to be higher in the mid-tones and in the high ends. And you're going to get different amounts of amplitude with each microphone. So for example, some of the better microphones are going to have a decibel boost, that kind of stuff, so that you can get a cleaner sound, meaning that your preamp in your camera or your recorder doesn't need to be as high, doesn't need to be as noisy. Ergo, cleaner sound. But actually that crispness that you get when you're listening to a tutorial like this or some of the other YouTubers who have fantastic audio, it's nothing to do with their microphone, really. It's all to do with the distance between the source of the sound, me, and the microphone. And to prove that to you, I have two microphones recording right now. The first one is a pretty good microphone. It's a Sennheiser ME66 that I picked up on eBay secondhand. That's a really nice shotgun mic, and that's usually what I use for my tutorials like this or for recording interviews because it is so crisp and it's very directional. And because it's a condenser mic, because it's battery operated, it's going to give you that extra boost in amplitude as well, which means that you're going to get a louder signal coming into your camera, so you don't need to have your preamp set as high, so cleaner audio. And then the second mic that I have is the little Rode Video Micro, which is a brilliant mic that I use all the time when I'm vlogging because I put it on the camera and that way it's really not far from, camera to mouth. Picks up the audio nicely. But the difference there is that one of these microphones costs about 5-6 times more than the other one. And so can you guess which microphone you're listening to right now in example A versus right now in example B? I'll give you a clue. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you that spending a lot on a microphone is kind of pointless if you don't know how to use it. The microphone that you're hearing right now is actually the Rode Video Micro, which is positioned just above me. In fact, if I zoom out, you can see it right there. It's about roughly a foot away from my mouth. Whereas the Sennheiser is actually about 2 meters away from me right now. It's still pointed straight at my mouth, but that distance is just going to reduce the amount of clarity in that sound because it's going to be picking up all of the echo from this room, all of the reverb from this room, all of the ambient noises that are happening, like the little fridge and people walking on the second floor and that kind of thing. And so simply by having the microphone placed in the wrong way, I'm getting worse audio from a mic that costs more than 5 times what this one costs. I mean, there's no easier way to explain it than that. You need to know how to position your microphones to get good audio. Otherwise, you can pay thousands for a microphone and it'll still sound crap. Now, I made a tutorial like last year, or maybe it was even 2 years ago, which was 3 ways that you can improve your audio as a filmmaker, from stopping using the onboard mic to using an external mic, to placing your external mic off of the camera, to having it just overhead, and then learning how to actually mix and post-process that audio in Premiere Pro and Audition. But I just want to reiterate one of the points that I made in that, which is about microphone placement. Right now I have this microphone on an extended boom arm, which is coming down on a little friction arm there, and it's going straight into my Tascam DR05, which is a lovely recorder, cheap, but it's got a very clean preamp. Now, for the sake of comparing these two microphones in equal footing, so that one of them is right next to the other, let me just swivel the Sennheiser back around so that it's where it normally sits, just above here. And you'll hear, in this case, what having a cheaper microphone versus a more expensive microphone can achieve in terms of crispness and quality. But it's only a fair comparison when they're in the same place. So let me move that now. Okay, so now what you're hearing is the Rode Video Micro still, which is what you've been hearing all along. And let's cut it to the Sennheiser. Now, how does this sound in comparison? Both of these mics are roughly about a foot away. The Rode Video Micro is a foot away from my mouth. The Sennheiser is about 1.6 feet, so 1.5 feet away from my mouth. I would imagine right now what you're hearing is that the Sennheiser is picking up on those S's. It's picking up less on the environment of the room, and it's really focusing directly on my mouth because it's a much more directional microphone than the Micro. And that is the reason that people invest in expensive microphones, not so that it can be placed miles away, but so that when it's placed where it needs to be placed, where it should be placed to pick up good audio, it picks it up really well. And this is the kind of placement that you would typically see on a film set as well. Someone would be operating the boom pole like that so that they can get that microphone really overhanging the talent, the actors who are performing, to pick up the audio kind of like this, like just above them, so that they can get as clean a source as possible. It wouldn't work if the person was just holding the microphones, stood 10 meters away from the actors or 5 meters away from the actors. It would sound terrible. You wouldn't get any kind of clarity out of what they're saying. That's why it's so important to have your microphone as close as possible to the source of the audio. So it's well worth your time investing in some kind of, it doesn't have to be an expensive one, a cheap boom system. I've actually rigged an old flimsy aluminium light stand, taken away the legs and just kept that middle extending section because the microphone's not heavy and so it can withstand that, and then just placed it on top of another light stand so that it acts as a boom. It works perfectly fine. And then running it like this overhead and then pointing kind of practically straight down with a slight angle so that it really catches the bottom of my lip there, you're just gonna get such nice clean audio, and it's really just gonna improve the production quality of your videos because sound is so important. Sound is half the game, as they say. I don't know if they say that. I'm guessing that's what they say. It's probably something else similar to that, but I've just coined that one. So there you go. Sound is half the game. All right, I hope you found this comparison helpful to understand why placement and actually distance between microphone and source of audio is so important. And if you did, then give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section letting me know what you thought. How do you set up the sound for your videos? And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So I'll see you next time. Cheers.